This is Boxing Tickets NI. We're here at Anderson Boxing. Very big joy once again with Kerr. Connor, it's been a while. March, I think obviously your co-main event, obviously you and Rudy in the Hall in the zone. I guess probably you're getting a chance at instant redemption already.
Yeah, that's what we wanted, nothing else. Just get in and show what I can actually do, you know, get the win over the line this time.
I guess like you probably, you know, I think initially it was supposed to be, you know, it was looking like a Jerry Hughes and really rematching. And it's sort of in some ways I was sort of going, you know, to defend, because he obviously couldn't fight for an Irish title because he hadn't done 8 rounds. So there's obviously the defence of the Celtic title. I think really always wanted an Irish title fight. So obviously that fight ended up falling through on obviously the last card it was done. But I guess when you sort of look back, like, great fight. Obviously it's a 8 round sort of toe-to-toe sort of war. Like, what's your sort of recollection of the fight sort of on the night? Was it just sort of tactics didn't go right for you on the night? Or?
Yeah, well, it was close, as we all know. Like, I could have went either way, but that was down to me, wasn't it? Because it wasn't supposed to be that close, but it ended up being obviously toe-to-toe war from. So yeah, but we'll get it over the line this time.
Was it sort of, you know, was it something that, I guess sometimes you can look at a fighter and go, you know, not to say that obviously you would have probably overlooked Rudy, but obviously with your amateur experience and stuff like that, like, were you expecting it was sort of, you were going to be mid-range, sort of keeping it at a distance, but then I guess when you get in there, you know, the red mist sort of comes and you go, let's just entertain people.
Yeah, no, I know Rudy's, how good Rudy is, you know, definitely not overlooking by any stretch of imagination. I just felt it wasn't my best performance, you know, it was probably 50-60% of what I'm actually about, so, but no, I wouldn't ever overlook him. He's tall, rangy, sharp. You'd be stupid to overlook something like that. I've sparred him before, I know he's good. I even said that in all the build-ups and the way up, like, so, but yeah, so all focus, obviously it's a must-win for me, like, I have to redeem myself and do it in fashion if you ask me, so that's what I'm coming to do.
I guess with boxing, you know, even obviously as an amateur and obviously now as a professional as well, like, sometimes you're still learning the job. Like, people forget, like, you going into that fight and I think you were four. That
was my fourth fight.
Fourth fight.
Yeah, so I've done 2 4-rounders, a 6, and straight into an 8 in the first year as a pro. So as you say, it's, you know, it wasn't too early. I was more than ready for it. I just didn't perform to the best of my ability on the night, if you know what I mean. But you know, I'm absolutely flying this time, so that's all focus on.
It's one of them, but isn't it, obviously you've had it, you know, they say you're the winner you learn in boxing, and obviously by having that sort of, you know, as I keep saying to everybody in interviews recently, it's like amateur boxing, professional boxing, completely different codes, so that gives you a learning probably experience early on. You go, right, well, I know I need to do a wee bit more of this, or, you know, we swaps and changes obviously to what you do training wise, so that when you come into the rematch then you've sort of ironed out sort of maybe any wee mistakes you sort of made swapping across.
Yeah.
And obviously then you go, right, now I know what I need to do.
Yeah. Well, that's it. We're not going to talk too much on tactics, obviously, but what we had already planned for tactics the first time, I just wasn't getting it off, you know. So we had to change them up at the time, but, you know, I know what I need to do, and yeah, we're well on track to, you know, everything's flying and sparring, everything's going well, so.
Like, obviously I can remember back in the fight and stuff as well, like, you know, it seemed to be sort of closing round, to sort of really seemed to be tiring a wee bit. Like, do you sort of, you know, you can get a 10-round fight for the Irish title, SSE Arena as well, like, you know, do you think this is going to be your 5th pro fight, 5 different venues? You know, it's like you're sort of doing a roadmap of Belfast.
That's it. I like to stay busy, you know. I remember I said in the first interview, I want to fight as much as possible, and I had no interest. Obviously, you have to fight journeyman at the start to, you know, get used to doing the rounds. So I kind of fast-tracked it. Well, I definitely fast-tracked because I'm going in the Irish title, my 5th pro fight over 10 rounds. But, you know, they interest me, you know, they're the things you can get up and train hard for, where, you know, obviously you have to do a couple at the start to get you into it 100%. But then I want to be in interesting fights, you know, and push on, and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
And like, you know, they think obviously Paddy McCrory obviously coming back, but Paddy obviously headline in America. He's sort of a chance of redemption. It sort of seems to be I'm not sure what the label on this card, but obviously it could be like a redemption sort of show, where you sort of having to pinch yourself, and obviously these SSE moments are coming, like particularly coming off a defeat, you probably think, oh, maybe we're going to have to go away and maybe we have to learn for a fight or two again before we get given a chance. Like, I'm sure when that phone call came from Ian to go, we've got the Irish title fight with Rudy, like, you were going, brilliant, that's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, that's what I was pushing for the whole time. That's why I was kind of hanging and waiting in the background, just waiting on it. Because I knew even if the fight had went ahead with Rudy and Jared, we still could have won against after. I think that was always his plan anyway. So I kind of just had to hang fire because, he's in the driving seat. He got the decision last time. So, I had to just wait on it because I can't move on without obviously beating him. So that's what I was waiting to do.
And like, you think of the landscape, obviously, super bantamweight, obviously from even from you sort of turning pro to sort of now, like it's getting a very, very meaty sort of division. Obviously, I know Rudy and Matty Boreland sort of had a couple of posts back and forth, sort of thinking obviously what's next, but obviously I know Rudy's focused solely on you.
Yeah.
You've used two, you've Matty, you've Jared, you've even Paul Noonan obviously in the south as well, like super bantamweights. It's nearly becoming like an 8-man sort of tournament sort of level.
It is, yeah. It's good to see though, because I know Matty well. He was actually messaging me the other day. We were in America 7 years ago, and he sent me pictures, when we were over there. But yeah, I like Matty. He's good too. He's coming on well. Fast start as well, same as me. He started quick, didn't he? He's got, he's like 3 in now. This is his fourth.
This is his fourth pro fight since June. So
yeah.
like he's even doing it even quicker than you.
Yeah, that's it. He got a good run, didn't he? Going well. Yeah. And he's got good support too, which is good to see.
Talk to me obviously about defeat. Obviously, I know you don't want to look back sort of too much on time, but obviously that defeat, obviously Rudy last time out, is that driven in you sort of ethos sort of with you? Is it lit a fire on you? Obviously, how have you dealt with that compared to obviously defeat as an amateur?
Yeah, obviously it's not ideal, because you don't want to lose, obviously, but we know why I did, and anybody that's seen me box knows that's not 100%. So tune in this time and you'll see 100% Conor Kerr, but obviously you don't want to lose. Nobody does, but it's good that I've got the quick turnaround to obviously showcase what I'm about and get the win this time. So yeah, and it was I think that all comes off the back of us both putting on a fight of the year contender. You know what I mean? So everybody wants to see it again. It's not like it was. It's always going to be entertaining anyway because styles make fights, and he's tall, long, sharp, and I'm small, sharp. You know what I mean? So it's just got one of them things. Styles make fights. So. And
like obviously that go back to it again. That sort of redemption. Like obviously fighting in the SSE arena. Like obviously we look at obviously the fighters that's been there in the past. Your Framptons, your Burnett's, your McCallum's. Even your Ando Kakachi's last fight, obviously, with the Frank Warren card last year, like, do you think of everything it's been through? Like, did you ever think a chance would come that you'd fight in the SSE arena?
Yeah, well, I would, not obviously as quick, but that's all down to obviously the Conlans giving us opportunity on big stage. They can, because we know before, like it would have been before obviously Conlan was fighting in the Odyssey and stuff. It would have only ever came around once in a blue moon when Frampton was there. So. It's thanks to these guys that we're getting obviously more opportunities because they're putting on more shows. So yeah, I'm definitely grateful for the opportunity. But remember I was saying the last time actually about I raced in there in the Supercross and the motorbikes. Yeah. So that'll be, what am I? Just turned 29. I spent my birthday in Comp this time as well. 29 at the start of September. So I was 8 and 9 when I raced in the Aussies 20 years ago in the Supercross. So we're doing full circle.
It definitely, obviously, from that to obviously then box.
Yeah.
I guess obviously the big arenas sometimes obviously you're well used to obviously fighting obviously at a great level and stuff like that. Will obviously any nerves come into it? Obviously making that Dunton ring walk, like they seem to build it up well as well, a big stage and things like that, and everybody's singing and roaring. Yeah, well,
I actually love that bit, but yes, obviously anyone that says they don't have nerves coming out, of course you do, or else you don't care enough. You know what I mean? Like it's. But in a good way, if you know what I mean, it gets you pumped up rather than like nervous where you're shying away. But I definitely think the last one will stand you well because, as you heard when you came out, the place went nuts. We both had good support there, so it's definitely, as you say, it's learning, isn't it? Like So yeah, I think that was going well. Like, and then I've done quite a lot of tickets, so well over 100 tickets out at the minute. So it'll be same again. So
And there's nearly 5 weeks to go as well. So
aye,
obviously,
yeah.
like, did you think that obviously, I guess everybody that's sort of buying tickets from these friends and family sort of thing, like sometimes you find with the feet that sort of things drop off. Like, how's that changed for you? Is it getting more? Because obviously some of your fights people haven't been able to get to for weddings and everything else. Like,
Yeah.
you're expecting probably more people here this time than there was for last time.
Yeah, there'll definitely be more this time. It hasn't really affected anything in that sense, to be honest, because like it could have went either way. It was close. Like some people think, like loads of people think I won. Some like I'm sure loads of people think he won. It was close. You know, I mean, it just depends what way you look at it. But you know, he got the decision on the night, but it wasn't. You know, when the fights are like that, there's no real loser. Your stocks kind of rise from that when you're starting off. You know, rather than the opposite. But obviously, you can't be losing. You know, that's usually when you lose, your stocks will drop. But in a fight like that, it doesn't really be that way, especially at the start of your career, because you're taking the risk and jumping in. Both of us, you know, it's not like, you know what I mean? Yeah, like
It's great to hear that, because obviously, with domestic fights and stuff like that, obviously we have Matthew Tyndall and Sam Kelly obviously both putting their unbeaten records on the line next week for an Irish title as well. So, like, it's great to see that obviously, your stock doesn't decrease, but obviously the fight, like, and it's a good fight, it only increases. And like, where do you look at sort of the fight? Like, obviously you're saying things didn't sort of go right for you in the night. Like, what do you envisage sort of this time? Do you envisage obviously that, 100% Conor Kerr, any means necessary? Obviously it's going to be a victory.
Well, I was supposed to do the first step, but yeah, no, definitely. Like, I'm confident that I'm going to get it. Like, so obviously I wouldn't take it. I'm sure he's the same. You have to be confident in yourself. But I know that it's something's mine, 100%.
I'm just thinking, obviously, I know you're not going to look past the fight, but obviously you beat Rudy, that then becomes the night. Like, will he have to do a trilogy fight then?
If I have to do it twice to prove myself, then so be it. If I have to, I mean, realistically, if it's one each, you kind of have to, don't you? So, I mean,
I guess he probably didn't have to give you the sort of rematch.
No.
I guess that's the nature sometimes of boxing, that people only see good domestic fights. So by him giving you the rematch, if you win, then it's nearly customary that you give.
You have to, don't you? Like, he didn't have to. He could have sailed off into the sunset and avoided it, but he knows it was a close fight, and he knows that everybody liked it. And he is an entertainer, like, whether you like it, he is. So, I mean, fair play to him, because he could have just sailed off and just avoided the rematch altogether. But yeah, so you have to respect that he's given me it again, like, straight away too. So
I guess, well, obviously, when you look at it, obviously, you get the victory, obviously become the Irish champion. It's pretty much like it raises sort of the Celtic title fight, where obviously, when you started probably 2024, you probably didn't think you could be an Irish champion by the end of the 2024. So like, this erases sort of everything from the previous fight. So for some ways for you, it's all or nothing.
yeah, it could be two final year contenders, who knows? But yes, this belt's mine this time.
And obviously it's going to be live all around the world in pro box. Obviously it's not on the
Yes.
zone this time, so there's a good opportunity. Obviously people, new fans sort of tuning in, sort of the Conor Kerr army could be growing, obviously, and if it predicts like it's sort of like the last fight was, everybody's coming in for a treat.
Yeah, I seen it was on Pro Box TV. That's good as well. It's a great opportunity to have to appreciate getting the opportunity again so quick, on live on TV, and obviously on the big SSC bill, and the Conlans, like, they're doing a good job in that sense of getting, like, young, like, even all the young up and coming fighters and stuff. Like, I was going to say young up and coming fighters, but I'm not young, like, just up and coming, old up and coming fighters. No, I'm still fresh, like, but yeah. But even all the younger ones that have just turned over, like Matty and stuff like that, they're getting on it again. And he got a late call up for the last time, and Tio's on it as well, isn't he? Didn't I see? Yes, so yeah, it's good. Like, they're all like starting off, and they're getting on big shows, if that's what I'm trying to say. It's not like you have to be 15, 16, 17 and 0 and to get on it. So it's good for getting eyeballs on people too.
I was going to say there's a good mix, obviously. Colm Murphy's obviously on the card.
That's right. Yes.
McCarthy's on the card. I know even you have a non-Irish fight, and obviously Robbie Davis and Fortuna on the card. Like, there's a really good mix. Obviously, Paulie sort of started off. Paulie made his debut on Burnett Haskins in 2017, and
Yeah.
there he's now went full circle to headline on the card. Like,
Yeah.
can you envisage yourself sort of getting to the stage of potentially headlining a card in SSE in the
Yeah,
future?
that's the things our dreams are made of, isn't it? That would be unreal. Everybody wants to do that. Like I remember I actually was at the Burnett Haskins one, and obviously watching the Frampton, and I was just thinking, I'd love to fight in here someday, you know, as a pro, like obviously. But when you're at that stage, you're like, you know, just thinking, oh, imagine walking out that tunnel, it'd be unreal, and then in a couple of weeks' time, I'll be doing the same thing. But like you just envisioned it, you know, you would love it. Like it's just, you know, when the music comes on and they're walking out, you're like, I'd be unreal to come out of there. You know, because it's completely different to amateur, you know yourself. Like I mean, amateur boxing's not followed to the same degree. It's not, you know, there's not all the hype when you're coming out and. But yeah, so buzzing for
I
it.
guess dreams can become true, like obviously, particularly with so many shows, like as you say there, Frampton shows when they came about so often, now it seems to be, you know, I guess we're in that sort of thing with Belfast, that you either have the Ulster Hall, you have Gertwood or the Europa, or you have the SSE Arena, so if a card's big enough, it's always going to end up in the SSE Arena, so you could potentially fight 3 or 4 times in a year.
Yeah, and then you've got all the other cards obviously as well, like, you know, Mark Dunlap's shows, and then you've got like Jay Byrne, he's running a lot of shows, and sure, but like 10 years ago that wouldn't have been the case, like sure it wouldn't have. Like your Mark Dunlap was obviously about, but you wouldn't have, what I'm trying to say is you wouldn't have had as many, you know. So wasn't there years where they went without any in down south, so yeah, so it's good to see that, because I mean even like go down there and get on a show and you're getting more like scope on yourself, you know, you're bringing yourself down, get more eyeballs and stuff like that, so it's all good.
Now Jay's 6th show within a year, you know, and obviously it just goes to show you, like I know I'd done an interview yesterday, and obviously it's the opportunities it's there now, it's giving everybody, it's amateur. You know, when you're obviously amateur and sort of looking at going over and you're going, like, how many fights, maybe you got a fight every week, but it's like getting them opportunities. Now there's opportunities at least once a month.
Yeah, it's good to see because there's a lot more people turning pro as well, like probably because of that, you know, because there's not as, like there was a risk before where you're going to be sitting in idle for a long time, you know. Then I would say if you had been coming up with a loss in that stage when a couple of years ago, you would have been finding it hard to claw your way back, you know, just as quick, where I'm getting it, what, like 6 months? No, is it, isn't it 6 months? About 6 months straight. So, you know, that's what you want. Like I wanted to turn it around and get the win and get back on, you know, back on chasing up the ladder. But if I win and we have to do it again after that, then so be it, we'll do it again.
I can
For a bigger belt again, we may as well.
I can see obviously the gym's just starting to get busy here for a class, but obviously finally, obviously we just, you know, I know I'll obviously speak to you on fight week, but how do you see the fight going? Do you see it being a wide points win? Do you see it in a close fight? Do you see it a stoppage? How do you see it going?
I have to do this one in fashion and prove myself, so big win for me. It has to be done that way. Redemption time.
Definitely. Well, look, Conor, obviously thanks very much for your time. Well, obviously we'll see you in about 4 weeks' time again. Obviously we're in fight week.
Yeah.
But obviously hope the rest of the camp goes great for you, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Yes, thank you.